Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again. We are live for yet another edition of Live and Uncut, your favorite show, your favorite late night show on YouTube. And I am joined by the one and only Mr. Jonathan Hanna. And Jonathan, you've had quite the day today, I can say.
Yeah, quite the day indeed. Really a crazy day today. My Discord server, the video I made today, crazy day for me.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, easily a crazy day for you. You had a video that's taken like I think it's probably your biggest video, like you're pretty much big views for like one day, and the day is not even over with. It's not even been 24 hours yet.
It's almost at 400 views. It hasn't been a day yet.
hmm Like only time will tell where this video is gonna go. To say the least.
It's at 322 views. Dang,
Yeah.
that's a lot in a day. I never had 300 views in a day. That's quite impressive.
That is very, very impressive.
And everyone joined my Discord server there. I got 30 members now in a day. But that's quite impressive too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just here to express my opinion. No, nobody. I don't hate the guy really. I don't mind hating. I don't hate the guy. I mean, Randy about. I just want to express my opinion what he did, and I just think what he did was wrong. Don't hate the guy really. Don't hate no one really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very much understandable. We don't like sometimes you just gotta call people out on some of the stuff that they do. And hey, and I see Tom in the chat. Hey Tom, what's going on? Looks like every stream you get your cam gets closer and closer. Well, I'm still trying to figure out the right angle, but now I think I might have found it. The right angle that kind of captures my camera and can capture at least some bit of the microphone. I'm not trying to go for all of it, but at least a little bit of it will be nice. And we had to readjust the chairs a little bit. But yeah, um, got to find that right angle. But anyway, guys, we have a nice set packed show once again. What is up? Hi, I have Bum Fluff on Twitch. Oh man, glad to see you. Hmm. Yeah, I see that. So yeah, you do try to hide your mic. You do try to hide your mic, Tom. I like to get like the little end of it. Oh, Jonathan. Oh, Jonathan. Tipped in. Oh, hey, Christian. Glad to see. Christian, glad to see you. Yeah, you do hide your mic a little bit, Tom. You kind of get like the nice little bit of it, like in your bottom. I try to get like the nice, at least top end of it. Hey, okay, here he is.
Why kick me out for no reason?
Oh, wow, that's weird. But yeah, I try to get like the little, tip of the mic, that way, it has at least a little bit of reflection from it a little bit. But anyway, guys, yeah, we have a packed show tonight, and we're gonna go right into it. And I think we have a nice big topic to kind of start off. And this is more so for my YouTube side of things. I don't know how this works so much on Twitch. I don't know if it even really works on Twitch, but it's something that is very important. Like something that very important. It shaped up YouTube last year. It shaped up fundamentally how YouTube kind of works last year, and it's still very much in effect this year. And in some cases, it's something that I think really needs to have a change. And that one subject, that one thing that I am talking about in this one very scenario, and that is the one and only, the lovely Copa. And in case you don't know what Copa is, Copa is essentially the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. Yeah, it's made to protect. It's essentially when you think about it, it's designed to protect children. Now, in theory, this sounds like a good idea. The idea of protecting children and giving them access and giving them, and having children have rights to be protected online and have, their privacy online. That is all good and dandy. I like the idea of that. But with that idea, there are points where it kind of takes a little bit of a wild turn. You're always welcome to come. You're always welcome to come on, Tom. You're always welcome to come on, Tom. Link is in the Streamlinks section in my Discord server, so you are always very much welcome to come on and watch the program. Come on and be a part of the program. But yeah, we're gonna go back into Copa. So Copa is something that is designed to protect children, which, again, in theory, nothing wrong with that idea. But there's a lot of points where Copa just kind of misses the mark, and it really took an effect on YouTube last year. It really took effect on YouTube, I would say, in the most last year. Because it got to the point where we have to make we're at a point where if you upload videos on YouTube, you have to label whether they're for kids or they're not for kids, and all that other dandy information. But when it comes in terms of COPA, there are lots of things that COPA is very restrictive of for videos that are made for kids. The biggest thing, and I think this is I think the part that affects a lot of people YouTube wise, is the fact that if you make a video that is basically for kids through the COPA thing, you're not allowed to monetize the video, which that, first of all, I want to say is stupid because a lot of people who use, a lot of people who make these videos for kids, in a lot of cases, were teachers, educators, especially during this time and during the pandemic. And a lot of times where teachers had to move a lot of their stuff to virtual learning and virtual fun, virtual, all that other fun stuff virtually. So we have to move that stuff to virtually, and you can't exactly make money off of doing that, which is rough. Which is rough if you are a teacher. That is rough because that is a good percentage of revenue gone right there. The fact that you have to label your videos for kids. Another thing that it also does is it takes away a huge thing that I think is very important for any YouTuber. And that important thing is the ability to monetize. Oh, wait, no, not well, yeah, monetize, but not only to monetize, but also the ability to have interactions with your comment section. Now, some people might see this as a negative. Some people might see this as positive. I see this as a negative. The main reason I see this as a negative is because, your comment section gives you a nice chance to interact with the people who watch your content. And it gives you, and sometimes it can be a brief, quick interaction, just a simple thank you, or it can be a simple good video. But sometimes you can get a long paragraph of something someone said stupid or something like that, and you can have a nice little bit in the comment section. So with that being removed, the fact that, because of that, because of COPA, you can't have a comment section anymore is kind of, ridiculous. In some ways, it's very alienating. I understand, yes, you want to protect the kids. We should be protecting the kids. We should be working harder to make sure that kids are protected and that they are safe on the internet. What is your YouTube, by the way? My YouTube is Phenomenal One. Just look up the title of this stream on YouTube and it should take you right to it. That is my YouTube I have Bum Fluff. That is a very interesting name. I kind of like that. But yeah, the important thing with COPA, the important thing that we're trying to, the important thing that we're really practicing with COPA is the fact that we need to be protecting our children on the internet, which is something that we very much still should be doing, and very much something that we should be keeping doing. But the thing is, if you're making videos to educate these children, if you're making videos for these children, you should be able to monetize that. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to make money off of this content that you are designing for kids. You know, it's like being a babysitter and working for free. It just doesn't work. Oh, hey Mason, glad to see. Hey, Mason, glad to see you here. But yeah, it's the fact of, you can't just make, the fact that, essentially saying that you're babysitter. It's just like saying, it's like being a professional babysitter, and you're basically getting paid, and basically your basic pay is just a simple thank you. It just doesn't work. A simple thank you is not going to pay bills. A simple thank you, a simple like on YouTube isn't exactly going to pay rent. you know which is unfortunate for anybody who has built a foundation on a kid's audience. For anyone, whether it's comedy, education, entertainment, anything in that widespread of an area. The fact that Copa is basically saying that you can't monetize it, you can't make money, and you can't do what you were already doing because your audience is mostly for kids, is kind of stupid, and it's a dumb idea. And also, the way that they treat these kids' videos on your regular YouTube phone app, is just absurd. The fact that if you have YouTube Premium, which is something that I very much recommend, whether it's through the YouTube Advanced app, which is kind of like a hacked version of Premium, and all this other kind of stuff, and basically all these other kind of features that are essentially you could get in YouTube Premium, but for free with YouTube Advanced. You don't really have those options. Options like the ability to have mini player going on. That is the most stupidest. That is something that's very, very dumb. And yeah, I agree with you, Bumfluff, about that. I very much agree with you on that. The fact that we cannot essentially have a video played on mini player. That is just wrong. That is just wrong. The fact that a video, just because it's made for kids, can't be, can't be played in mini player while we're looking up another video or something in that regard, is a little stupid, and it's a little absurd. Because if this was any other video, we would have no problem playing it in mini player. But because it's a kid video, it's a Copa video, you know, we have to do this act to block and to prevent these, to block this feature. We've heard many times about the flaws, about how flawed YouTube is. There's a reason why YouTube, for a lot of people, just isn't the place where it once was. And that's why I've also started to branch off this stuff on Twitch. I've started to branch off these platforms, these streams. I've started to branch them, you know, I've started to branch them off a little bit on Twitch, you know, for the sake of that way, not only this can be on another platform, but also it can get a different audience and it can get a different viewer. It can get some different viewers and it can get a different experience overall that you just, you can't get on YouTube. And because it definitely takes a little bit more harder work to do Twitch. It definitely does. Twitch is definitely not my forte. After streaming time after time again on YouTube, definitely not. But it is a very relaxing place. The drama there isn't the same. And overall, I could get used to doing more Twitch. I plan on doing more Twitch streaming after this season is over with next week, and we'll talk more into that as we continue on with this season and all this other kind of things. But our ultimate goal is definitely to, move over to Twitch and, continue, to build what we have over there as much as we can. But anyway, but yeah, Jonathan, yeah, we were talking about your video really taking off earlier. It's getting a
Yeah, it's getting up there.
yeah, it's getting up there.
I don't know what views you got now. Probably it's still like 300 plus.
Yeah.
But I gained a lot of subs for today for it. I gained like over 12 subs today.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something good. I ain't know it was a video gonna blow up, let alone get a lot of subs from it.
Yeah.
That just shocked me.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned a lot of people join my Discord server. My Discord server used to be dead till what happened there.
Well, I don't think your Discord server is going to be dead anymore.
Yeah, because I got 30 members now. I'm just really gonna be active.
Yeah. I think as long as you check in, like every few days or so, I think as long as you check in, you should be active, no problem.
I'm gonna keep on making videos consistently now. Because if I don't, people gonna sub to me.
I do
I'm
think that
probably gonna.
you're making videos. I do think it's better than what it once was.
Yeah,
So I do think that you are getting much better with your content. I do have to say, and I do have to endorse you on that part. You are getting better with your content. I really believe that you're starting to find your voice and you're starting to find your stride on YouTube.
yeah, I am. People are interested in my
And
content
it's
nowadays.
and it's very and I have to admit it's very nice to see. It's very nice to see that from you.
The back of that, I barely posted. Now I just post more content. I remember I was gonna come back on YouTube after this copper stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was gonna. I just said I'm gonna delete my YouTube and never come back. I said I'll just come back eventually. I guess I came back. I thought I had to restart.
Yeah.
I thought all my subs got deleted at first until I saw my subs at 200 back. I said, okay, I got 200 subs back, so I am gonna continue YouTube because I thought as I hit my channel, I thought all my subs gonna be gone. But as after my subs just came back randomly, so I said I just continue, and now I'm here now with 400 plus subs.
Mm-hmm. What's this dude do? Well, Jonathan mainly does Dragon Ball is mainly his niche. That's mainly what his audience comes to him for, and I think Dragon Ball really is the best way to describe his content on his YouTube channel. So yeah, be sure to check out Jonathan Hanna. He's reckoned to be a big force in the Dragon Ball community, even though the Dragon Ball community is known for being a little bit of a toxic place. He's someone
Yeah,
who can you can kind of look to not be toxic.
yeah, not toxic.
Mm. But yeah, let's talk about our next. Let's head into our next topic, and our next topic is the one and only the good old Doctor Seuss.
Dr. Seuss.
Yeah,
The same guy made Cat in the Hat.
the same guy who made Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham. You name it, you name it, he's made it. Best way to describe it. If you name it, he made it. Simple as that. But people are, this is going to be a big chat, and this is going to probably offend some people and probably offend some people. Some people are not going to like what I'm going to say. Some people might be able to jump, support the journey after this, but oh well, it just happens. Because one of the big things that have happened lately is the belief of cancel culture. People really believe in cancel culture. Cancel culture is really taking up a thing of its own. It's unfortunate to say, but also it's something that is very, very much true and something that very much has affected a lot of people. And so, very much is trying to play a hold. Now, a lot of people, you know, now, well, I do think that cancel culture, the idea of canceling something in general, doesn't sound too much of a bad idea. It doesn't sound too much of a bad idea. But then we have the execution of a lot of this stuff. And this is where some of this stuff just gets very, very messy. You know.
Yeah, it's quite messy. People try to cancel everyone nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here he is.
What's going on?
Hey, Tom.
You can hear me all right. Okay. Do I sound good?
Yeah, you sound good.
All right. I'm doing pretty good. Just downloading Warzone as we speak.
Yeah, you sound good. Yeah, you sound good, and you look good. You look better. But yeah, we were talking about the good old Dr. Seuss being the victim of cancel culture.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. So
Yeah.
I guess there's some books that I never even heard of that are apparently racist. These random books that no one's ever read or bought. I saw the list. These aren't even popular books that he made.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Yeah.
And now they're worth thousands of dollars because they just suddenly shot up in value because people think you're never going to be able to get them again.
Mm-hmm. But this is the important thing. The main important thing that I like to mention with this is the fact that, they weren't being forced to stop making these books. No one pressured them in to not make these 6 books anymore. The publishing company decided to stop making these books
because no one bought them. That's probably the truth.
Yeah, that probably is the truth because compared to green, because if you had the choice between green eggs and ham, the general truth about it, you probably more than likely would pick green eggs and ham because green eggs and ham is probably the more recognizable Dr. Seuss book.
Oh yeah, everyone loves the classic On Beyond Zebra and the Cat's Quizzer. And if I ran the zoo, such classic Dr. Seuss books, like McElliot's Pool. Wait, what the hell is that even? In the Milbury Street? I never even heard of these books. Like, where the hell these books come from?
Mm-hmm.
These are like such random books. Scrambled eggs. Like, okay. No one bought the books. That's really the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you know something? Yeah. I think I might have read one of them. The Milbury Street one when I was a kid. I want to just look that up real quick.
But the important thing to mention here is that a lot of these books that are not being published anymore are known to have some racial overtones in them, which is the best way to describe it. And people want to say that, Dr. Seuss is being canceled, and oh my God, they're gonna stop selling green eggs and ham, and we need to boycott Seuss. Like that's not what's going on here. Like we need to kind of slow down. That is not at all what's going on here. Because green eggs and ham will still be in stores. You can still buy that if you ever need a new copy of it. More than likely, you probably won't. But if you want to buy another copy of it and sell it to your friend, hey, it's still very much possible. You can still buy it. That is not going anywhere. But we're talking about the books, mainly the books with the one with Chinaman in them.
Yeah, what book is that one?
Let me see. I forgot which one it was. Let me see.
I mean, we're looking at books. Let's be honest here. one of the books came out right before World War II, which was 1937. That was the Millbury Street one. And then there was the one in 1947, which was 10 years later. If I Ran the Zoo came out in 1950. Scrambled Egg Super 1953. And then 2 years later, On Beyond Zebra 1955. And the only closest one to nowadays would be the Cat's Quizzer, which was 1976. And that is like freaking 45 years or 35 years ago or whatever. So, I mean, we're talking about ancient books that not only has nobody bought, these are books you don't even see in your store. Like, it's not like these books were regularly available. I'd be hard pressed to tell you the last time I've seen any of these books in the Target. And Target has a deal with Dr. Seuss, and you can find their books regularly on their floor. And I don't think I've ever seen any of these books. These books aren't even stressed amongst Dr. Seuss. I mean, we all grew up with the ABCs and even the subtle one, like Green Eggs and Ham and One Fish, Two Fish, The Cat in the Hat, the ones that are most common, but even The Fox and the Sock is one that's another one that people did. But these are common books you can get anywhere. These 6 books, no one bought, let's be honest, no one cared about. No one's even mentioned these names since this whole thing started. People just like to have, honestly, people just want to find things in everything. But I mean, when you're talking about the 30s, the 40s, and 50s, this is more of a historical look at what society looked at more than it is our current product. I mean, can you really cancel something from 1937? No. I mean, it's already ran its course. It's made all the money it's ever going to make. Everything else is just like, it just exists now. Not necessarily canceled, more like forgotten. And it's been forgotten. I mean, to be honest, this book was canceled. This book probably never sold. This book was probably canceled the same year it came out, which was like almost 100 years ago. I mean, it's getting kind of ridiculous. I mean, we could keep playing this game, and I could find books that were written during the Civil War that had racial undertones that we were teaching in school. But we're not going to go that far because I think that most people with a head on their shoulders know that this is more of a marketing thing than it is anything else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I very much agree with mostly everything you said. Like, these books, these are the less, say what you will, but these are definitely the less popular books of Dr. Seuss. People are not going to remember these books like they would remember A Cat in the Hat, for an example. Like, they just won't remember those books the same. They just don't have that same amount of weight to them. Not saying that they're bad books or anything to that regard, but they're just not. But you just wouldn't put these books in the same level as A Cat in the Hat or Green Eggs and Ham. And it goes back to just this basic saying of, it's just basic saying that, and if anything, we're not doing the, and if anything, this publishing company, I believe at the end of it, they're not doing this because they want to get rid of Dr. Seuss. They're not trying to tarnish the dude's legacy because they could take all the books away. They could stop publishing all of the books that he did. And that wouldn't change a single thing. Because either way, you still would have read these books already growing up. At the end of the day, you would still have the memory of reading these books and learning English and phonics. You would still be able to pass these books around to your younger ones. So overall, the fact that we are basically moving on from these books that have, these racial overtones in them is more of a positive thing than it is a negative thing.
Yeah. And but that's the look at it that people need to look at. You got people that are misinformed that are saying Dr. Seuss is some kind of racist person, but he made over 60 books in his lifetime, and then 6 of those books were, of course, what people would classify as they had racial overtones for them. But you'd be hard pressed to find any type of media during the 40s and 30s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s that didn't. And as you get closer to 2020, you start to see that less and less and less. But my point is, it's far and in between, and it's not just Dr. Seuss. I mean, these were standards. This is more of a look on publishing back then than it is a Dr. Seuss thing. Like if we're really going to look at this as a whole, we really got to analyze how books were back then, not just necessarily how this book is. Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Oa Plays, One Fish, Two Fish, The Lyrics, Fox in the Socks, Horton Hears a Who, Hop on a Pop. These are like, I guess, the most popular books that he ever made. None of these books ever had any racial, and all of them were successful. We're not talking about like a book that none of these 6 books, like, I mean, if we never even mentioned this, no one would even remember them. But my point is, if any of those main books that I just listed had some kind of racial overtone, then I'd be like, yeah, Dr. Seuss might have been a little bit overboard, but no, he's not. He's just, I mean, that it is what it is. And like I said, 1971 was the last book that had that, but that isn't the last time he ever made a book. I mean, he released the book is 1990. I'm trying to look here real quick to see what we got. I mean, even 2015, a book was released. 1984. I mean, he was making books long after that. And yeah, so it's not like we're talking about the guy, and it's not like we're talking about any book in particular. In my opinion, this is more of a take on how culture was back then. Oh, Mr. Brown Can Moo. That was another one. I remember that one. But like the Walk It in My Pocket. I mean, there's so many books here that I don't know, that don't have it, that it just it's I mean, we could look at Sesame Street in the back in the day, and I'm sure we could find something. Even wrestling back in the day, let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
Didn't they used to paint back in like I don't want to just check this, but I'm pretty sure back in the day, I mean, let's be honest, Roddy Piper painted himself black, himself black.
Yeah.
As early as like that, but even way back, like I'm sure they segregated shows back in the day. Like I'm talking like in the 1800s. Like
if people knew that now, yeah, counsel Roddy Piper. He did that now. Yeah, get counsel. He do that in wrestling. That's our counsel when they do a black face.
Yep. And then even as early as 2018 or 7 or 2000 whatever, no 2008 or was it 2008? Tropical Thunder with Robert Downey Jr. I didn't even know it was Robert Downey Jr. I really thought he was black. I thought they actually got a like an African American to play a character. I didn't know it was Robert Downey Jr. till like someone told me. I mean, he did a really good job. I mean, a lot of people said that too. A lot of people were like, "Wow, I couldn't believe that he was playing as a black character." I mean, he nailed it, and that's weird to say, but he really did a good job. And he did it more of. His theory was that it was a take on, I guess there was a book and he was trying to play a character, and I guess his goal was to see if people would notice. And from what I heard, I don't know if that's true. And I didn't notice. I didn't notice it was him at all. So I wouldn't say he was making fun of it, because if he's being that good at acting, then he's really, I mean, that's totally different. He wasn't parodying it. He was actually being the role.
And plus, it takes, if you have to be that, you have to be that committed to the role if you're willing to do that, and to be able to convince somebody that you're this black person in this regard. Like that takes a lot of skill that a lot of actors and some people in a lot of ways just wouldn't have anymore. In some ways, and I hate to say it, almost wouldn't be acceptable nowadays.
Oh no, so Dave Chappelle used to paint himself white and go on the Chappelle Show.
Yeah, like there's a movie, like the Wayans brothers in a movie, White Chicks.
Oh yeah. See, like I mean, it happens on both sides. So that's just how it is. And I wonder how we're gonna look at this years later. I mean, obviously, since Robert Downey Jr. had done that, then he never got canceled. And people love him. And people are I see people crying in the theater at the end of Endgame because Robert Downey Jr. was no longer going to play the role of Iron Man, which we all know that's a lie. If you know anything about superheroes, they don't ever die. But that to me was just like, it says something. Like people understood that he's not racist. People understood why he was doing what he was doing, and he was just playing a role. People knew that. And I would like to think people understand that about Dr. Seuss. It's less more about racism, and it's more about a product of a time that is going to exist. If you can't cancel 1937 existed, and 1947 existed, and 1971 existed. These are times that existed, and these are things that came from it. Yes, we should talk about it and acknowledge it, but I mean, we can't just pretend it didn't exist. We can't wipe it from the face of the world, because then you don't learn anything. I mean, are we going to pretend the Civil War didn't happen and wipe all the stuff that ever happened to it? Because if we do that, then if the America ever goes down, which it will, no society ever lasts forever. Ask Rome. Rome lasted many hundreds of years, and they aren't around. Someday America will disappear and be gone. And do we want any lesson that we've learned throughout our history to be forgotten because of some people that feel as though it doesn't need to exist? Like, if the Civil War didn't happen, we might not be where we are today. And yes, there was a lot of racial stuff that happened during and before and after it. And there was a lot of stuff that came out in the 1960s, that a lot of the racist stuff, that a lot of articles were written about odd facts that aren't true about how someone is incapable of doing something because of their color, their skin, or their sex that they are. These are articles and books that were written, and people wanted to burn them and get rid of them. Maybe we should not burn them and get rid of them. Maybe we should obviously not hold them in regard, but we should let them exist and label them, because if we do pretend these things don't ever happen and exist, then when America goes down, all these lessons that we learn will no longer exist. And another society will rise up, and it'll be forgotten, which happens. I mean, Rome was burned, and a lot of information was lost. And the internet is more, honestly, the internet is an easier thing to completely destroy and disappear like this than material. And if we can't get information from material from Rome because of the fires and just over time things collapse, if our history is stuck on a hard drive and it gets wiped, then we're effed and we don't learn anything. So I think that canceling these 6 books is a little overboard. Learning from these 6 books is more the path that I'd be more apt to take, because if you cancel these books, it's more likely that people are just going to let it go in one ear and out the other. Like, yes, it's a hot topic. We can talk about it on Twitter. We can rave about it in the comment section. We can give our opinions. But in 4 or 5 years, are we really going to remember? No, we won't. So I think that we shouldn't. Go ahead. Sorry.
Like I do agree that we'll never remember that. We're not going to remember it many years down the road. It's these moments I like to call a blip in history, essentially, where moments where they happened, but they don't leave a super, super lasting impression on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Essentially. This is another, and a lot of these cancel culture moments that people who believe in cancel culture keep going after are moments that are just a blip in history, which is the big thing of why, there's a big problem with cancel culture, because they're going after moments that in the long term will not leave such a big lasting impact on the earth, on the face of the earth. They're going after stuff that is rather small, and that will just be another blip on the earth.
Yeah, and I want to clarify something, because someone did say Rome wasn't burnt. Well, Rome technically was burnt, but in the time they had the great fire of Rome. I don't remember what year it was, but I think that their bigger point is that it wasn't burnt during the time that they were rised up, but they did collapse. Their society collapsed, and my point still remains that a lot of what they ever learned is forgotten, in a sense, because they enslaved and then we enslaved, and the only difference is they watched their victims get killed and murdered and fought for blood, and we watched our victims get hung. So I mean, at the end of the day, they might have paid and people just gathered in the streets. I mean, I live in Massachusetts, in Salem. It's highly known that's what they did. And nowadays, instead of that, we just in most states we just kill them by shooting them and injecting them or electrocuting them. So I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of exists. It's just not for financial gain. Hell, I remember back in the day when Saddam Hussein was captured, I remember saying they should air it on pay-per-view because they'd make a lot of money, and I got crucified for that. But as a businessman, I feel like that would make a lot of sense.
As a businessman, you definitely would want to capitalize on.
Yeah,
you definitely would want to capitalize on that, which is the unfortunate thing in the big scheme. But
and then all the money, and then I said all the proceeds should go to the victims of 9/11. But I don't know. To me, it made sense. What the hell do I know?
I see the sense making in behind that because that's definitely something that definitely could catch on, and definitely people could definitely make a good that definitely could have made a good fortune on that. I definitely think
all the countries would have bought into that. America, we did it. Then Saddam Hussein would have been like the second pay-per-view in 2010 or 11 or 9. I forget when he was caught. But yeah, that's what I got. The Great Fire of Rome lasted. It was July 18th, 64 AD to July 23rd, 64 AD. So it was a few days. But that's neither here nor there because that wasn't my point. My bigger point was that a lot of lessons that were in Rome were lost. And that's not even like the beginning. I mean, the societies have existed forever and ever. And a lot of times we don't learn. We just never learn. And I don't know if they fall into the same thing we fall into where we just want to suppress and forget and move forward. It was only like 10 or 20, it was only like 20 years ago, about 20 years ago in September, this coming September, where America was attacked and everybody came together and the militias from the 90s ended. And now here we are 20 years later and we're talking about, instead of militias, we're talking about, well, yeah, technically they are militias. We're talking about Antifa running around the streets. And I mean, here we are 20 years later and they're now stronger than ever. And it's not, like I said, it was about 20 years ago where a lot of that went away. I mean, because in the 90s, it was like the Oklahoma City bombing and there was a shooting on Ruby Ridge. And there was a lot of internal militias on the radio publicly saying what they were doing, releasing cinemas, using religion as a way to get into people's heads and create a bigger militia. And that's what's happening. And then it kind of slowly tailed off. And then here we are again, instead of religion, they're using our own psyche, our own culture against us. And they're creating the militias that way. They're using racial undertones. They're using government and they're making it, and they're kind of creating a disconnect between young people and the culture and use it through social media to arm up these militias and go to the streets and cause chaos. And social media is the new way of doing it. And they're kind of, they're kind of using social media against our own culture, and things are going trendy. Like, really, should we be worried about Dr. Seuss right now? Should we really be worried about Dr.
Out of all the things that we have, out of all the things that are going on in the greater aspect of the world, Dr. Seuss is like one of the smallest things. Dr. Seuss has been dead for how many ever or so years.
Yeah, and I would love to see. I would love to see what I Have Bum Fluff has to say, because they did say that they don't agree, but I'm curious of what they think. Like, what is your opinion? I mean, we're in America. We all should have opinions. If you have a better opinion about what's going on, then I'm sure that everybody here would love to hear it. I'm just telling you what I've seen. And there's the link in the chat. If you want to join and talk, then go ahead and give your opinion. I'm curious too. But at the end of the day, that's what's happening. Little matters get these threads, and then they get some of it's almost like little things are now bigger things than they really need to be. Again, Dr. Seuss isn't the issue here. It was a product of the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and even the early 70s. And like I said, we can go all the way to the 90s, but we're going to go way back. We'll go back to the 30s to about the 70s. And we'll just say that's more of a snippet of that culture back then. We need to really analyze that and not analyze Dr. Seuss. Because in reality, we should be like what other books, came out back then, and look at it that way. To vilify a guy who went on to make 60 plus books for 6 books that were released in a time when that's the culture we lived in is weird to me. But it is what it is. And I meant in terms of what is your opinion on society? What is your opinion on this Dr. Seuss thing? Basically, it's simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's my opinion on it. I think it's less Dr. Seuss and more a vehicle to get people to just go to social media. That's really, and that's sad. That's sad that that's the society we live in, where it's all about clicks.
Oh yeah, and like I think that we've all kind of pretty much agreed with this huge statement before. The idea of how how everybody really wants to have their 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, it's not going to last forever.
Mm-hmm.
I've been telling people this. It's not going to last forever. This is our millennial culture that is manifesting in society of 2021. Happens throughout history, and our kids may not share the same philosophies that we share. They may not. And we may have the 90s and the 80s all over again in like 30, 40 years. Our kids may not share the philosophies that we share. And we may think we're right, and maybe we are right. But there might be a generation that thinks that they're right and what we believe is wrong, even if what they believe is racist. They will then take over the White House because our generation will eventually become old and die. New laws will be passed because our generation won't be able to hold the house long enough to maintain all the laws. Mm-hmm. And eventually they will take over the government. And then we will be the 60, 70-year-old people sitting in our house when these young 40s and 50s year olds now run the laws and run the office. So here we are in 2021 looking at culture, but it will not last because, again, all society changes and that's how it works. That's how life works. But right now we live in this generation. Mm-hmm. And that's why I say we can't forget these things, because our kids need to see these things so that they don't change things to everything we're working for. Like, they're going to be the ones that are going to grow up in this world. And if we keep pretending things don't exist or canceling things off the internet or deleting things, then our kids will not have anything to learn. And we're just going to repeat where we are 20, 30 years ago, because our generation decided to cancel everything. You can't cancel things, because then you're going to be like, well, why are these people slaves again in 100 years? Well, I mean, it's because all of the stuff that ever existed, we burnt in a fire because we're fucking idiots.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my opinion on it. It's obviously bad, but what are our kids going to learn? Like, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
These 6 books are going to be forgotten in a year.
Oh yeah.
We all didn't even know they existed, and most people, I would say, didn't know.
Yeah, most people really didn't even, because most people, when they think of Dr. Seuss, they're not thinking about any of these 6 books. They're thinking about Cat in the Hat and Green Eggs and Ham primarily. They're not thinking about these 6 books that just recently became, a big part of history for this short period of time.
And they've existed for, like I said, years and years and years. So, like, it's funny that now we're being told these books are racist. I would have never known that, which I guess is a good thing. It's a good thing that we now know. I will not say that. It is a bad thing that we're trying to pretend and forget, which is, there is a group of people that feel like we shouldn't forget, and there is a group of people that feel like we should, like, erase it from existence, take it off the internet, take it off YouTube, don't talk about it. There are a group of people that vilify people for talking about it. That's the group I'm referring to. That's the group that doesn't understand that if we pretend these things don't exist, then they're just going to repeat themselves. That's how it works. That's how it'll always work. And I don't want to be here again, and my kids have to, like, or my kids. I'm telling you right now, Paige, they will be against everything we build, because that's how generations work.
Oh yeah,
they always think they're right, and they always change things. I remember my grandfather was 90-something years old. He was the most in touch person that I knew before he passed away a few years ago. And they were trying, I remember I had a conversation with him, in my town, they were trying to build these the power windmills things.
Yep.
Built them. And he understood. The guy's 97, I think he was, before he passed away. And he understood how society worked. He said it best. He said that, the government in the town isn't passing. They aren't going to build these right now. But eventually all these old people are going to die. And we know that the young people want it. So once they're out of office or die, they're just going to build it anyway. So they're just avoiding the inevitable. And that's when I realized he's right. He's right. They're just avoiding the inevitable. Those wind towers are going up, and they're going to go up. If it isn't this year, if it isn't next year, if it isn't in 10 years, this is what they want. And when those people that vote are out, they're going to get it. And their excuse was that they were too loud. And my grandfather said, I'm 97 years old. I can't hear anything. They could put it up in my backyard. I'll never hear it. Like, so he understood it. He got it. He says that this is what society wants. This is what society gets. And all these old people will eventually not be able to control it. And that's how it is.
Oh yeah. No doubt about it. Like, it's, like, the thing is, the one thing that history has, like, the one thing that, like, history has always kind of had a problem with, and that is eventually, like, the thing is, you can't delay the inevitable forever. That's just the truth of it. We tried very hard here in the US before the Civil War. We tried very, very hard to delay the inevitable. We had the Fugitive Slave Act. We've had the Kansas Compromise. We've had so many compromises. We had the Missouri Compromise. We had so many states coming in for the sake of deciding whether to be a free state or a slave state, and having a big argument, because if one state became free, another state had to become slave, and it was just a big it was a big kerfuffle, in short. And it basically, we had to do something, and eventually it got to the point where we had to do something about it. History, at the end of the day, is something that it's going to change, whether you like it or not. That's just how history works. And that's why history is such a very important thing to keep record of. Which for a lot of people, who don't like the way that things change, don't like how things work. But at the end of the day, history is something that is always going to change, and that is always going to have some form of something to where, it's going to have something that is going to be out of the normal eventually. That's just how history works.
So what do you think is going to come out of this whole Dr. Seuss thing, realistically? Is this just a clickbait thing, or is this something that actually matters?
I'm kind of I do think it's more on the clickbait side, if I'm being honest, because I do think that, the fact that, like, these publishing companies decided to publish these 6 books, I don't think it's that big of a news article to where it needs to have as much attention to it as it does.
Did they ever come out and say they canceled it because of racial undertones, or did they just stop publishing them and people started looking into it?
They stopped publishing them because of the racial undertones.
Okay, so they decided.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where people would find these books. Again, I've never seen these books. I didn't even know they were still in circulation. Yeah. Where are they publishing these books? I've never seen them anywhere.
Yeah, that is a good question.
I mean, I'd be shocked. I mean, I go Target has a whole Dr. Seuss section, and you don't even see them. Yeah, and like that guy, they have Bum Fluff says in the chat, you can never cancel books. I'll go one further. You can't cancel books. Once books are published, they'll exist unless you burn them. I'm not talking about a TV taping. Books last pretty long. I mean, longer than a DVD. A DVD ages pretty fast. I mean, and even data on a hard disk, SSD eventually. But books last hundreds of years if you take good care of it. You can't cancel a book. You can photocopy a book and reprint it. Like, I mean, it is what it is.
Especially if the book's already online, which it will probably live on for the better part of forever.
Oh, yeah. All the Dr. Seuss books are online. You can probably download a right now with all of his books. And then you could join the cult, the Seuss cult, and learn about. And then, yeah, Dr. Seuss, the road to the KKK. That's what they want you to believe. That's like crazy. I believe it's clickbait too. I think canceling them is more along the lines of these books don't sell anyway, so might as well cancel them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. And we've been talking about how something that apparently just because something gets canceled now, it's apparently like, it's this big thing nowadays. Which lots of times it's like, is it really that serious to where we have to give it national attention?
No, probably not. I don't think it is.
Most times it's not. This is an example of something that isn't that serious. Like, this is the perfect example of something not being that serious, but it's given all of this national attention on.
That's what I was saying, Dan, in the chat, saying that there were early books that were depicted as yeah, that's what I mean. But they're choosing Dr. Seuss because they know Dr. Seuss is heavily influenced in our educational system. So Dr. Seuss is a target because of that. I mean, I'm sure that there were Dr. Seuss books like that. I don't know if they're, I don't know. Dr. Seuss was still published and it was still in circulation, which was part of the issue. I mean, I'm sure books came out back then that are no longer being published that had the same feel as that, if not worse. It's more along the lines of these books were actively being published. Now, I don't know where these books are being sold, maybe online only. But they were being published, and I think that's what they were talking about.
Oh yeah, they probably were more than likely being sold online. Which
I don't know. See, the Bumfluff says that are you usually offended? I don't know if you're watching the same stream that he's producing. None of us are offended here.
Oh yeah, none of it. Yeah,
this is a conversation that people have. So you see that comment in the Twitch chat? I think that's a little over. I don't know who this clown is, but
I have no idea either.
You can go read that book in the bathroom next time you take a dump, but we're not talking about that book. Hangman Charlie, The Road to STDs. The next Dr. Seuss book.
Oh man. Well, in all honesty, Hangman Charlie is a definition of a walking condom commercial. So.
Oh yeah, man. I don't use condom. They don't feel good. Okay, Charlie. I don't know if I believe that. I mean, the guy, he's gonna have little Charlies walking around that he doesn't know about.
Which is where we kind of get the idea of kids use protection.
Yeah.
Don't end up like Hangman Charlie.
Yeah, getting beat up by Dan XP on YouTube. He gets like this little cut, and he's like, "Ow!" Oh my god.
Oh man, I do have to admit though, Dan and Hangman, they kind of look like distant relatives. If we're being
yeah, I see it.
Yeah, like they might have some descent between them that they might need to get some ancestry.com and kind of figure that out. But yeah, Hangman Charlie, perfect definition of someone who would be perfect, would be the perfect definition of a walking condom commercial. Reminding kids to just don't do it or to put the cup on.
So if you want to, I can change topics. Are you all set with this topic? Because I
think we've had a good discussion with that topic.
Because it's funny, you say we're on Twitch right now. We were talking to one of the Twitch people that are actively talking right now, Mr. Bumfluff. Well, Twitch is actually going to be presenting a brand new something that YouTube's already had, but yeah, Twitch is being more transparent about it. Now, imagine living in a world. This is like some 1984 shit. Imagine living in a world where everything you do is a score. That everything you do online, really it's social media tied to Twitch. So it'll be your Twitter, your YouTube, your Facebook, your Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, MySpace, if you still do that, whatever you do, it's all going to be looked at and you get a score. Imagine living at to the point where it decides what brand deals you can get, what ads will play on your video, and how much money you will make based on what sponsors want. Twitch just announced something I think it was this morning or it might have been last night. And I'm going to go into that article, but I will say this before I do that. It probably is good to have something like this, but to this extreme, it's a little weird to me. I don't think that brands and advertisers should have such an influence that they control the culture. Like, nobody's doing anything weird enough to not be able to get a brand deal because Twitch's rules wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
So I'm perplexed on the fact that they'd need to even release something like this, because being on Twitch implies that you're friendly because they don't allow much toxicity on their website. Now, granted, there are toxic people, but as a streamer, you're not supposed to be toxic. So for this to even exist is kind of weird to me. I don't understand it, but I will go into it. So Twitch may be adding a new brand safety score for streamers, and cybersecurity researcher, this is the website right here on The Verge was talking about it, has found evidence of Twitch internal API. This is somebody that went into the code and they dished this out, and this is where it was discovered, that the site plans to implement something called the brand safety score for its streamers. The score would depend a number of criteria from the streamer's age. A rating is given by the Twitch staff, their ban history, the relationship the streamer has with Twitch, their auto mod settings, their partnership status, their ESRB rating of the games that they play, and whether the stream is set to mature. So they're going to look at all this stuff. This is just a quick overview. They're going to look at their mod status, which means that basically that means that what precautions do you take in your chat that moderates it automatically? What words are banned? What they've said in the past gets banned. They're going to look at that. The relationship with Twitch staff. They're going to look at your age. I don't know if your streamers, unless I guess you can't really register if you're over 18, but if you're under 18, but if you're over 18, that shouldn't matter. They should be saying your demographic.
Age really shouldn't matter.
They should be like, if I was a guy looking to get my, I'll go into that after. Let me just finish this. I'll tell you as I've gone to college for marketing, and I would tell you what, if I had a product, I'd tell you where and what I'd be looking at to advertise it. A streamer's age wouldn't be one of them. Their relationship with Twitch staff wouldn't be one of them either. Their ban history, maybe, if the person's been banned a lot. Their relationship with the streamer, the auto mod setting, possibly. What games they play would be more interesting to me, but whether it was mature or not, I don't care. The ESRB rating of the games they play, it wouldn't necessarily mean whether they were, mature or not. It would be more along the lines of, if I have an MMO and I'm trying to promote it, I'd obviously go there and promote it. I'd want to go to an MMO gamer or streamer. That's where I would care about that. Yeah. But someone released these pictures on Twitter, and I guess I could just quickly say them that it basically proves that they're planning on determining if a streamer can get ads and what ads they'll get based on those weird things. As of right now, everybody gets the same amount of ads. If you're affiliated and if you're partnered, you can actually put more ads on your channel. I can put 2 ads every 30 minutes. If I was partnered, I'd be able to do 3 ads every 30 minutes, I think it is. So you get like an extra ad on top of more viewership, so you get more money in the end. Now, I can't decide which ads I play. I just hit the button on the stream and it just plays the ads. I don't know. Now, YouTube's been doing this for a while. YouTube will decide if you're blacklisted to not play ads on your video and you don't make any money on the ad revenue, or they just completely give you the crap of the barrel and you don't make any money on ad revenue. This is something that YouTube did. Twitch had not done this. This seems and I've said this a few years ago, Twitch is going down the path of this, but they're not quite there yet. Now, this is getting them closer to that, but this is called the brand safety score. And yes, your channel will no longer be the name of your channel. Your channel will be a number. And according to them, they're going to have your ads based on a number. So if you don't have a score now, no one knows what these numbers are going to be. But let's just say 100 being the best and 0 being the worst, like a credit score. And there'll be ads that are reserved for people that are 75 plus. And there'll be ads that, and everyone else gets the short end of the stick. And then there may be some people that don't even get ads on their channel. And that is not right, in my opinion, because my audience, and now the toxic people, that's different. But if I play mature games and all of a sudden I get like the least amount of ads, I don't get the ads that would help my business, then I feel like that's kind of biased, because I'm not breaking a rule playing. If I'm playing like Resident Evil 7, I play a lot of horror games. Sometimes I play horror games.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I should be penalized because I play mature games.
You shouldn't.
No, I should be able to get the same ads that the guy playing Barney Hide and Seek for Sega gets. But again, I guess, that's my opinion on it. But I will say this. If I'm a guy looking for my product to be sold, I'm looking for location. I'm looking for, because like you don't want to play, like what good is my ad for my tropical Cuban hotel on an American web, or like a Korean sushi? What's good is that ad on like some guy in Boston? Like my ad doesn't, that's what YouTube does, by the way. This is why I'm saying this. There's YouTube that'll throw an ad out there for like some hotel that's nowhere near me, that I'm never going to go see. I'm sure that hotel is thrilled that their money went towards me. I'm sure that they're so ecstatic that money got wasted on my viewing eyes. That YouTube has work to do. But if I'm an advertiser, I'm looking more for the demographic, and I'm looking more for location. And if I'm making a game, I probably will look at the game. But whether their audience is toxic or not.
Will there be a strip club in the game?
Well, yeah, if it's GTA, but or Cyberpunk, they have strip club too. But that's how
I feel like you've been talking for 45 minutes.
What?
I feel like you've been talking for 45 minutes.
I asked Paige if I could bring the article. I'm about to ask for his opinion. I feel
this is very important for you too, Charlie, because you're on Twitch too.
This is something that was released, and I don't think anyone knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was figuring that I could list it and I could see your guys' opinion on it. But that's my opinion on it. This is how I feel.
I don't know. Like, and I'm feeling in the same boat as you, Tom. I feel like there's too much of trying to get Twitch involved. To try to Twitch is trying to have too much control over your content in a way. I do feel like that there is a such thing as putting too much control into your own content. Like you're saying, like this is very 1984-esque. You know? And if anyone who's read 1984, it's a very interesting book by Orwell, to say the least. It definitely gives you the idea of a utopian society, and many people aren't really fans of that kind of a society, and it can be a very daunting experience for some people who just dive into it for the first time. But it definitely is something that just very much with the fact that they're taking away a lot of control and a lot of, and the fact that they're trying to control what ads you're able to put on and how many ads you can put on and all this other kind of stuff. It's very, for a content maker, it can very much have a strain on the content. It can affect the content in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in going forward. As of right now, it hasn't been implemented. It's kind of like in the it's kind of like ready to go. Like it's in the bomber and it's about to be dropped, but it hasn't been set. People just looked at the API and they can see that they're about to unload this new API or whatever API. So everyone's just kind of worried, and it is kind of sucks that your channel's now going to be a number. And hopefully this going public, I mean, it's all over Twitter. Hopefully this going public, they kind of decide maybe they shouldn't, because it doesn't seem like many people are happy about this. But only time will tell there. As of right now, everyone, it's normal. It hasn't been imposed yet. But this is just if it's going to happen. And I'm getting an echo from Charlie Long, Mr. Beetlejuice himself.
Well, excuse me. I was about to ask Paige, what are you drinking?
Oh, some Mountain Dew Voltage.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was that new one that I was talking about. I think on Chilling at the Gal or the Pepe Le Pew. That was pissed off. Walmart's sold out of it. I was trying to order more. I'm pissed because of that. I just came in here just to say what's up because I'm about to go to bed in a little bit. Just go and play a little bit of Call of Duty before I go to bed because I gotta get up at 6 again tomorrow.
Hey, that's funny. I just downloaded Call of Duty on my computer.
Black Ops Cold War?
No, just Warzone. I don't play that stuff. I play Warzone. That stuff costs money.
Oh yeah. Support the product, support the culture at Activision, all that good stuff.
I'll support Activision when they stop using the same Frostbite engine or whatever. No, it's not Frostbite. What engine do they use?
Yeah, they've been using the same.
Yeah, they've been using the same fucking engine since Call of Duty fucking 4 from 2008.
I think the engine, what they've been using in the last two Call of Duties has been actually really better than the whatever they've been using.
Well, they improve it. They do improve it. They improve the graphics and they improve the physics, but the glitches are still there.
Well, yes, I can agree with you there.
And at the end of the day, it all feels the same. Like, and maybe I don't know. They to me, it just always feels the same. It's like they don't do any huge advancements. They do the same thing that WWE 2K does, and the same thing Madden does.
I was about to make that reference. But
yeah, they unleash new features and then they recede on the features so that they can release them again later on. It just creates this idea that we need to go buy the game.
But anyway, guys,
that's the biggest problem I have with yearly releases is the fact that it's like every year it's like we take a few steps forward, but we're also taking a few steps back.
That's what they should do with WWE 2K22. They should make it a live service, release it have it every few years where they have it where they just release free updates and maybe some DLC for some bigger things.
The seasons. That's what I've been saying. That's the future of gaming.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, I'm going to head out because, like I said, I won't be going to bed soon. Just came to show my love. By the way, instead of watching Rant and Rave tomorrow, go check out some real professional wrestling tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time, HCPW Gold Rush for Phenomenal One, of course. He will be going for the gold, and we're going to have an announcement for a new title going to be announced tomorrow night. And, of course, which we will be announcing tomorrow night for a future episode of HCBW and all that good stuff. So, but yes, skip Rant and Rave. Rant and Rave's so old. They'll be by the way, as Dan would say, TikTok Rant and Rave. You only got a few weeks left till episode 40. You better enjoy while you last. We already, I'm going to give Phenomenal because I love giving him scoops. I love giving him announcements here on Live and Uncut or the Lounge. But I'm going to say, that we got a new logo. Tom's seen it. I've seen it. And, of course, we're going to unveil it on episode 40. So, and that'll be the permanent logo going forward. So, anyway, guys. What?
Go ahead. G4L just said something. I was going to highlight it, but you can.
Seems to improve each year better. Well, yeah, I've been playing. I actually played UFC 4 just earlier tonight. And, yeah,
I do agree with that. I do agree with that.
Yeah, I do like UFC 4.
I'm gonna see who.
I do believe UFC 4 is the best one of the EA UFCs, not counting the Undisputed games, because until they bring Pride in to UFC, the EA UFC, it's still not as good as Undisputed 3.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, guys,
they use Frostbite. Yeah, they use the Frostbite engine. Are they using the Frostbite engine?
I'll talk to you guys later. Y'all have a good night. Peace.
They said they don't get it later. They said they don't use Frostbite engine. So what are they using? Huh.
I have
The
no idea.
Ignite engine? I guess they use the Ignite game engine, which I've never even heard of.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you just saw the entrance and the exit of the walking condom commercial himself, Mr. Hangman Charlie. But anyways, back to where we were. We were talking about the Frostbite engine.
Yeah, they have the Ignite engine. UFC does good. UFC is different than most EA games.
Mhm.
So yeah, I agree. They do add
Oh, yeah.
more and more stuff,
Well, yeah,
but they have a
they also have like a 2 year or so break, which I
yeah.
think helps the game because they have more time to work on it and they have more time to actually sit down and fix kinks and bumps and all this other kind of stuff. And they have time to add stuff in properly, which helps the overall experience of the game. Which is why, like, I always recommend getting the UFC games because they take more time with them and they don't need to have a release every single year with just an updated roster.
Yeah, they don't release on PC, which tells me that they use a completely different engine.
Mm-hmm. Although I do think, I wouldn't mind. Although I do think that they do need to catch up with the PC, considering the fact that you can get Madden on the PC.
Yeah,
I do
Madden
think,
wasn't for years, and now it is.
yeah, I do think that UFC does need to follow suit now with that.
I feel like there's a lot of PC only streamers that don't even touch console anymore, and that's why a lot of these PC games honestly jump up. Like, what's the latest one? Valheim, I think it is, and The Forest. Those are two games that, because of streamers and because of them being a PC game, shot up in popularity.
Mm-hmm.
So, not releasing a game on PC, it kind of hurts you more than it helps you in that sense. But I don't know if maybe they don't even use, maybe the development kit, it's more work for them to then release it on PC after they've created it for the PlayStation and the Xbox. I don't know how that works.
It might be no more work, or they could do what WWE was doing when they first started to release their games on the PC and where you would have to wait like a good 3 or 4 months. Like, actually, no, you had to wait like a good 5 or 6 months after the game would come out on console to get it on PC. Because for 2K15 and 16, you had to wait a good 5-6 months to get the game on PC versus getting it on console where you can get it back in like when it came out in like September or October.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna head out though.
All right.
I hope you have a good rest of your stream, Paige. Thanks for letting me come on.
Yeah.
I'll be in the chat, so I'll talk to you later, man.
Yeah. All right. Oh, look who stopped by. The one and only Danny Lewis. Oh, hey, what's going on, Danny?
I just got off the phone with one of my accordion friends for about an hour or so.
Oh, okay, that explains the accordion. But yeah, I heard you had a Zoom call earlier today.
I had like 3 Zoom calls.
Oh man.
I wanted to see what I do is I just say that I want to test Zoom out, but actually I just wanted to talk to my friend more. So, but at first I tested out with David, and then I tested out with David and Joey, and we played like Family Feud and Press Your Luck like 3 times, and it was fun.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Because David was telling me David was telling me if you're home, here's the info for Zoom.
Yeah, you should have joined us if you were available. If you weren't available, that's fine. But yeah.
Well, I was like just coming home from work, and I had to prepare to do this. So you know how it is.
Yes.
Yeah. But we're getting closer and closer until next week, the season finale of this season. This has been quite the season, Danny. You can agree.
Yeah. But I think I know how to use Zoom now. I think all the kinks are worked out.
Yeah. But have you been keeping up with Jeopardy?
Not really, because I mean, I'm gonna say I'm not really a fan of Katie Couric, and it's not because she's mean to Republicans. Anyone can be mean to Republicans and still, that's just the way it is. Everyone's mean to Republicans, but it's just that I never really cared too much for Katie Couric in general. Nothing against her. I was just never much of a fan, so I'm probably not gonna watch her Jeopardies. I've heard it from my mom was gonna watch Jeopardy every day, but I hear a little bit of it, and I'm just like, I can.
I saw her Tuesday. It was, I think. She's okay. She's not great, but she's not terrible.
Well, I think that's good enough.
Yeah, like she's middle of the road. Like you can watch an episode with her and be somewhat satisfied, but for like the casual Jeopardy fan, you're gonna want a little more.
Yes.
I think, yeah. But yeah, Danny,
I can't wait. And who's going to be the next co-host? Is it going to be that sports guy?
I think
Adam?
it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. Yeah,
Aaron, that's it. Yeah.
I think we all know there's one host that everybody knows that I think that like everybody is dreading, and that's Dr. Oz.
Well, you got to hate on my man Oz.
I'm not hating on him, but most people are.
I'm kind of confused. I thought most people would say, huh? Dr. Oz? I mean, he's okay. But everyone's saying, no, Dr. Oz sucks. He's a liar. He spreads misinformation on his talk show, and he's a bad doctor. I was like, okay, chill on him. He's probably not going to get the job. Just let him host Jeopardy for a couple of weeks.
Like, he's going to do, like, 2 days worth of shows. Like
2 days?
Well, two days taping-wise, because they tape, 5 episodes in a day. So... Yeah, so that's like 2 days worth of show. So that's not really, he's not going to be on the show for that long in retrospect.
I think they should have had Dr. Phil. I would love Dr. Phil over Dr. Oz.
Oh, man, if they had Dr. Phil, oh, man. Oh, man, they should get Dr. Phil for the teen tournament.
Oh. Could you imagine?
Oh, God, Dr. Phil hosting the Jeopardy teen tournament. Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Dr. Phil. He's just one of those people where I just like, despite all this COVID stuff, you just watch the show and think to yourself, everything's going to be fine.
Oh, man, I almost joined Dr. Phil's virtual audience.
Oh, really? What happened?
Yeah. I never got to it.
I would have, well, if I did get to be a part of a virtual audience, I wouldn't flex it. Like some people I know, but... It's just like, you got the virtual audience. You can only see like a little bit of your face. There's like,
I was about to say there isn't the virtual. There isn't much to a virtual audience.
Yeah. Hey, good job. What?
Oh man, Danny left. Oh, that's unfortunate. Good old Danny boy. Good old Danny boy left a little.
He must have left for something, did he?
Oh no, you think he might have had connection issues?
I'm sorry, no, I pressed the wrong button on that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, okay, what? You got the virtual award, BFZ.
Yeah.
Virtual audience.
But yeah, I almost was part of the virtual audience for that show. Although I might become a virtual audience I do want to be a part of a virtual audience for one show. I don't know what show, but some show, because it seems interesting, to say the least.
Oh, I imagine it does, yeah. I'd rather be a virtual audience member of Dr. Phil than probably of some comedy show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. But coming soon, you're going to see a 2 or 3 part poker-related podcast from yours truly and a couple guys from Canada.
Oh, okay. That's gonna be it. I can't wait to see that. Danny doing his thing. Danny doing his thing in podcast form.
Yes, and this one's probably gonna be on video, but we're try to record it on Zoom, so it'll look nice. It'll but it won't have the limitations of a StreamYard.
Oh yeah, StreamYard can be very limited.
Yeah.
hmm But that's where you fans can help us out. As if you donate to Danny's Redbubble, you too can help out with StreamYard.
Yes,
Even
you
though
can.
those two things have nothing alike,
Yeah, you
you
can
can
buy a
bring us.
lock. You can buy a locket and a coaster set,
Oh yeah,
which he has up here.
which
Yeah,
also
there you
is
go.
good. Yeah, which also is very good for holding up microphones.
Yes,
Yeah,
and you've got 4 of them, so if one goes bad, you got 3 more.
yeah, yeah, and they're very sturdy.
Yeah. Well, hit now, and Redbubble offers mugs as well. But my thing with coffee mugs is that if I messed up some of the print on it, it would look bad, and I would just feel like I ruined the mug.
hmm
Which reminds me of a funny exchange from. Oh, actually, I know. You know what I watched tonight? I watched the South Park vaccination special. And man, if you thought the pandemic special was good, the vaccination special is just as this. It's like a lot better.
Oh man.
It's brilliant. They nailed everything, and I think they pretty much showed us in the way that only they could. I mean, because there is a lot of, you know, penis jokes and whatnot, but that's South Park. What do you expect? But they pretty much did it and showed it through because of Eric Hartman, Kenny, and Kyle. I think that's how it is. Yeah. No, Eric. No, Eric. It's Cartman, Kyle, Stan, and Kenny. Because of those 4 boys, everything's gonna be fine, and hopefully the vaccines are gonna stay on track, and we're gonna get on the other side of the COVID stuff this year. So.
Oh yeah, we are definitely nearing the end of the pandemic, to say the least. We're definitely nearing the end. The end is nearer. We still have work to do. We're far from being there yet, but we're getting close to being there.
Yeah, but the thing about coffee mugs was a funny exchange on Family Guy when Brian was pretending to be a fan of PBS. He's like, "Oh, I think we should watch PBS." And Stewie's like, "You don't even watch PBS. You bought a mug from them at a fundraiser 5 years ago that just says PBS, but the mug is so washed up now that the P has gone off, so it just says BS. What does that tell you?" That Brian's full of BS. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, they had this new episode of Family Guy, where they had Peter play Terminator.
Oh God.
And they had a scene they had like this fight scene in it where like the Peter as Terminator was going after Brian and Stewie, and it was kind of entertaining. And the scene ended with and the scene had a good the scene kind of climaxed with Brian and Stewie making out. It was the weirdest thing ever.
That's some stupid shit. Like the worst. I think one of the worst Family Guy episodes is when Stewie had a baby with Brian's artificial insemination.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck was Seth MacFarlane? What were you thinking, man, when you wrote that? Did you?
Well,
when you
I think that was when the time when Seth MacFarlane was not on the because I know there's a point where Seth MacFarlane was no longer a part of the writing process.
Oh, that's true. But he could have read through the script and said, "No, I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna read this in the voices of Brian and Stewie. No fucking way."
Oh man. Say what you will, but Seth MacFarlane is very talented.
I agree, of course.
Very talented actor. Because if he can go back and forth between 4 voices in one show, that says that takes skill.
Yeah, and same goes for Trey Parker and Matt Stone, because when I was watching South Park and I'm just like, gee, the voices of Stan and Cartman especially sound a lot deeper, and that's because Trey and Matt are almost 50 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where would we be without South Park?
Yeah, where would we be? Where would we be without a lot of stuff?
But what are your thoughts on The Simpsons being renewed for, what is it, 34th and 35th seasons?
Oh God, I'm part of the troop that's can The Simpsons kind of just die already?
At least do it before any of the major cast members die, anyway.
Because I think The Simpsons is because The Simpsons is like one of those shows where people just want it to end, but it will just never will.
Yes. It's like Hoedown from Whose Line Is It Anyway? The song that refuses to die.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's like The Simpsons is the cartoon equivalent of the game show equivalent of Millionaire. It's
Oh.
pretty much like Millionaire, which is pretty much like Millionaire, where like it'll die, but then it'll come back to, but it will ultimately come back to life.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, the Millionaire. Oh, speaking of Millionaire, I may have told you about this or not, but Adam Wurtzel did get to say my name to Meredith Vieira on the latest Host at Home, so that was very nice.
Oh wow, that's pretty nice. I still need to check that episode out. I did see the Chuck episode.
Oh yes, the Chuck episode. I wish I could have been a part of that. No. Hey, what
And
if
it's
he
like
said?
Chuck seems like Chuck seems like a nice guy. Like he really does.
Yes, and I'm glad Adam Wurtzel was able to interview Chuck, despite I'm pretty sure, despite he probably thought he may have gotten some negative attention for it. But I think most of the attention was positive anyway. They were just like, "Oh wow, he's really interviewing Chuck." I mean, well, he's got good game show history, but he won't talk to him about Trump or other stuff.
Chuck seems like a nice person as long as you don't talk politics.
Yeah, that's what Randy West said. And but if we could get Chuck Woolery on Lock It In, I'd love it.
You know who to contact. You know, I'm pretty sure you could contact Adam Wurtzel and he'll.
Well, I sent Adam a picture of the Chuck Woolery bobblehead. I'm like, hey, feel free to tell Chuck about that. And he said he doesn't speak to Chuck regularly, but it's cool that he had the bobblehead. So I may have to go through the blunt force truth people if I want to talk to Chuck Woolery.
If you want, I know you want Chuck. I know you do, and I would like to have Chuck because Chuck is one of my favorite. Like Chuck is he's one of the hosts who I think because of his politics involvement, he'll always be an underrated host simply because of his involvement in politics.
Really?
Because Chuck is a damn good host. I can't think of one show that he was terrible at.
Yes. Well, one show that, at least in my opinion, was good host, bad show was a Love Connection. I just never I never got the appeal of it. I didn't like it.
I think it took even though Love Connection lasted for its first one lasted for 11 years, which is pretty amazing. And I do think Chuck. I think when Chuck started the show, I think he wasn't fitting with the show, but I think once he got loose with it, kind of like a few years down the road, like once he got loose with it, like back like in 86, 87, that is when I think the show really took off.
Yes. But
yeah,
every time I tried to watch Love Connection as like a 7-year-old, I was just like, this show is dumb. I don't want to watch it. I like Chuck Woolery, but I don't like this show.
What are your thoughts on Love Connection? Like 14 years later,
I still don't care for it. I mean, I'm not gonna ask any of my game show tape trade friends to get me episodes of it. No way. No, but I'm gonna try to get into watching Scrabble, another one of Chuck's shows, which is
I'm a Scrabble fan. I like Scrabble. Well, granted, because I generally like word games for the most part anyway. Shannon will be the first person to tell you, like, I will easily do a word search if you give it to me. But yeah, like I generally am a fan of word games, and Scrabble is one of my favorites because my favorite part of Scrabble, I think, is the clue writing, because the clue writing is like probably the most creative on any game show ever has been.
Yes, absolutely. And if all goes well, I'll be able to go to my current job tomorrow and give my 2 weeks notice, and then continue with the job, which is going to be at the pharmacy.
Oh, Danny got the pharmacy job.
Yes.
Congratulations, Danny.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I couldn't have done it without you.
If
That's a
only
fucking cheesy response.
if only I had champagne, I could just kind of just blow the cork in your face, and we could kind of just pour it all over you.
Yes.
Well, yeah, look at you. You got the job.
Yes. But I hope I
Danny.
don't turn into one of these. What? Who's commenting? Oh,
Oh no, I just
but
said Danny's. I said Danny's got a job.
oh, okay. Yeah, two jobs. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, yeah. Welcome to the welcome to the 2-job grind. I'm currently on that grind right now. I think I'm about to give my I'm about to kind of give my 2 weeks. I think.
But I hope I don't turn into one of these people who with a different job every 3 months. Not too good.
Well, it's good for getting experience in different fields, which is
Yes.
something that a lot of people do look for. Depending on the job, is if you're very well experienced in different fields. So it's good in that aspect. It's not good like long term. I don't think. Long term, I don't think it's the most substantial. But in terms of building experience, I think getting a job like a few job like hopping jobs for a few months, is good experience wise.
Yes. And I knew I wasn't going to be at this first job for that long. I mean, it's been 4 months, and that's one
Yeah.
that's 1 month longer than I thought I would have lasted.
Oh man. Oh man, like I feel like that. I feel you because like at my first job, like I've been there for 6 months now, which is kind of insane. Which is kind of insane thinking about it because I never thought I'd be there 6 months. I barely thought I was gonna make it past seasonal, which I was surprised that they just kept scheduling me, and then apparently I'm gonna get benefits in part time, which is unheard of. But I'm like, okay. Then they started messing around with me, and I'm like, oh, okay, we gotta take some steps back here. Um, and then after that, it's kind of like and right now it's kind of like it's kind of like a messy breakup where like we're just not working. We're just not getting along together anymore. They say square, I say circle.
Yeah. And what was it? I forgot what I was gonna say. No, I know what you should do is tell them, hey, I'm the host of Live on Uncut. If you do me wrong, I'll expose you on my show.
Oh man, I probably could. Oh man, I probably could because like I have so much projects on the internet. It's kind of crazy.
Yes, I would kind of be scared though if my whoever bosses I would have past or present, search me up and dig and searched hard enough to find this live stream, which it doesn't even have my name on it, but it's one of my friends' live
Yeah.
streams. So I'd be like, well, thanks for being a fan, I guess, but yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, like I don't tell anybody about what I do behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, like I told this one person I told this one girl who was working with about how like I do like some video editing and stuff like that. But, like I never like went too deep, but I never said I had a YouTube channel or anything like that. You got to work hard. You got to work hard to find that.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Danny, you're almost at 1,000 subs.
Yes, and we're gonna have a big party. We may, I should do a 1,000 subscribers live stream, and then we're gonna have the special with a compilation of all my friends wishing me congratulations on having 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And I imagine that one's gonna be quite long.
Oh yeah. Well, granted, you are very well known.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
You're
No.
you're more well known than me, which.
Yeah.
Mm.
And if you want to send in Cameo, just message me on Discord. But now it would be a bit premature to do it because I don't want to be like saying I won if I don't get 1,000 subscribers. But just wait until 1,000 subs happen. Don't rush into it. So.
Oh man, Danny Lewis, 1,000 subscribers.
Yes. And if David's watching, don't send in a 90-second clip. I'm only going to use like 10 seconds of it. Jonathan asked you something in the private chat.
Oh, well, let's see. Oh, I didn't realize he was backstage. But is Danny more known than me though?
Depends on the crowd.
Depends. Danny's probably more well known, and Danny's probably more well known in his community. He's
in the game show fans, yeah.
Oh yeah, easily well known,
But with these live streams and the drama stuff happening, I'm more of a sideman. I'm kind of.
Oh yeah, you're definitely more an audience member.
Yes.
Yeah, you're more an audience member than contestant in that regard.
And I think it's Jonathan Hanna. Yeah, he said he got a bunch of people on this Discord server because someone gave him a shout out. Am I correct?
Yeah. He's been getting those shout outs.
Yes. But me, I'm at that point where no, I don't need any more shout outs. I'm satisfied with the way things are.
Oh yeah, well, you have every reason to be satisfied. You have 963 subscribers with only 165 videos. I feel like that's that's much lesser than like my video output.
Yeah. And David's output as well.
Oh well, David's output. Oh man.
But it's I don't know. I guess I just upload some news.
David will make a video of him breathing. I'm pretty sure. Like just intro, David taking a deep breath, then roll the credits. That is a David 3000 video right there.
Hmm.
Do people share his videos though?
It depends because I upload some things that are very niche and like that. Video I uploaded a month ago, which is a black and white video from some 1960s poker band show that got a lot of shares in the poker community on Facebook mostly, and I know that got a lot of talk. So
I love David, but man, is he hard to understand. He can be. He can be.
After hearing his voice in my ear nonstop for a year, it kind of becomes second nature.
We probably need to get David an English translator, kind of.
Like a sign language interpreter.
Well, maybe a sign language, or maybe just like a megaphone. Imagine David, but like, I should just make a video saying David 3000, but everything he says is through a megaphone.
It's a good idea.
Tricky, you can come in here. I didn't realize you. I really wasn't paying attention backstage.
Oh, okay. Much. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sorry. So I'm sorry if like I just held you back there for a bit.
The thing is, like, I actually thought that you guys didn't want me around here, so I was like, okay, maybe I was not.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. It's just I just
yeah.
Sometimes, like after a while, I just don't pay attention to backstage.
Oh yeah.
So I actually let me bring Donovan in too.
Sometimes I do that. But I was like, at first I thought, okay, yeah, maybe I'm not invited. Okay, maybe I'll.
Oh yeah, no, you're always invited. It's just like sometimes when I have full screen on, I can't see who's backstage.
I might as well show my face for this. Yeah,
right
here. Hello. But yeah, so don't mind the pictures. Those are not me. Those are my sisters that drew them. But anyway, so how's everyone tonight?
I'm good.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
I was watching. Paige, you saw the Snapchat of what I was watching last night.
Oh yeah.
I watched that.
Part of me is wondering how could you sleep off of that?
Oh, it's easy. But after that, then I watched Rant and Rave podcast episode 34. And that that episode was so sleepy that even David was asleep on the camera. He put up the camera and went up in his bed.
But Tricky, if you're wondering what he was watching a presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was watching
Awesome.
the first one. The second
first
one
one.
was better because it was better moderated, but the first one was just a
Is
bunch of.
is it
No,
like
no,
are you talking about like the one where they're like yapping arguing
Yes.
like who did this and who did that?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, there's like people were memeing the shit out of that over on Twitter.
Yes. And I was.
I just want.
I
I
give
want to
Joe
like
credit.
fast forward to like 10 years from now, like to
Uh-huh.
when like neither of these two could like ever be president again, and like I just want to go back to that with just like a big thing of popcorn and just start fucking eating this shit up, like just eating and laughing my ass off to this shit because
Another
it
thing.
was.
Go ahead.
It wasn't like because the thing is it wasn't funny like while it was actually happening. It kind of was it was annoying as shit. But
Yeah.
10 years from now, we're gonna look back at it like fucking laughing at this shit. Like, oh yeah, this is American fucking
Yeah.
politics right here.
Well, I found some funny things even when it was happening. Like, if there had been an audience, well, there was an audience, but if they had been allowed to talk and cheer and whatnot, and if Biden had said, "Would you shut up, man? You know there would have been a big from the crowd." But you know, it didn't happen. And
Oh man,
but if you want a funnier debate, go watch the very last Democratic primary debate from. It was about a year ago today, March 16th of 2020. It was just Joe and Bernie talking, and after a while, it looks like the two guys from the Muppets are just arguing over politics. That's pretty what it was.
oh yeah. And speaking of like that, "Would you shut up, man?" quote. That quote is actually an impromptu Live in a Cut episode 8 trailer, which is kind of funny.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So you turned a negative into a positive there. It's
Oh
kinda-
man. Oh man, like I can't. I still can't believe that is the most viewed Live and Cut episode ever. That's insane.
Oh yeah. While you guys are talking, I don't know why, but I'm just playing with this fucking stick for no reason.
Cool.
Because I'm
Oh,
that
man.
bored.
Mm.
But yeah, so what were you guys talking about besides the Trump and Biden thing?
Oh, not much. We're kind of just we're kind of having like a chill zone like the last few
Oh,
minutes.
oh,
of the
that's
show.
that's
Yeah.
cool. That's great. Those
Yeah.
are my kind of streams.
Yeah. So Tricky, how's your day been?
It's been really good so far this week. It's been actually what the fuck am I saying? It's been actually really good so far. I think last week or days ago, I don't know how many. Me and my parents and my sister, we went to Atlantic City after 2 years. First time going there was 2019. We went to the Ocean Casino Resort. It was really fun. I had a very good time there. The only thing I didn't like about this year's vacation is, of course, the pools are closed, which really sucks because the casino had beautiful pools, very beautiful pools. And the thing is that I'm looking at the city. It's like, wow, the city is really cool. They have a shit ton of casinos. Well, not a shit ton, but a lot of casinos there, and they're really cool. But the Ocean Casino Resort, it's fantastic. And the thing is, what I did not know is that Atlantic City is a great place to visit, but not a great place to live because a lot of crimes happen in Atlantic City. I don't know why, because the city looks so beautiful. How the fuck can a city that's so gorgeous have a bunch of shit crimes there? But I just learned that it's basically Grand Theft Auto Vice City in real life, and it's just. But yeah, that I still think Atlantic City is really fun, and they have good stores and all that, and the casinos, they're fun to visit.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of great stuff about Atlantic City. My parents are very much enthusiasts of Atlantic City. It's pretty much from what I've heard. It's pretty much like a mini. It's like a mini Las Vegas.
Yeah. Oh, they have great beaches too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
great view, great everything.
When are we taking a? We're gonna plan a trip to Atlantic City.
And I also make notice that like what at the time, like during my trip at the Ocean Casino Resort, they had a shower, not just any shower. It's like you don't lock it in or any shit like that, but instead you still close it, but there's no lock, so people won't see you get in the shower. Which is fucking bizarre, but despite all that, still looks beautiful. I mean, I know it sounds weird to think about it, but they have the greatest bathroom of all time. The sinks are clean, the showers are clean, everything's clean, and surprisingly, the toilet's clean. I mean, yeah, they clean toilets for people to piss and shit there. Yeah, it's shockingly that everything about the shower is so clean. I mean, I know it sounds awkward to say shit like this, but they like I said, the casino is beautiful, and when you may know something about the TVs, they only have surprisingly they don't have the FXX, because that's when I want to watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia on there. But usually when it comes to hotels, they don't have like every single goddamn channel out there. But,
hotel TV is not good. It's
you get basic cable.
Yeah, the thing is that it reminds me of when I didn't have cable back then. The only channels that I had that were cable related, despite me not having cable, were the three big children's channels. Some of you who haven't been living under a rock should know them by now. And of course, I also had the MTV, the USA, TNT, yada yada yada. I had all of that shit, despite me not having cable. But yeah. The only channels I didn't have back then were the cool kids channels, like
Disney Channel.
I did not have Boomerang, and I did not have Toon Disney and all of that, because because back then you had to spend money to offer those channels, But it's not as bad as nowadays when cable became even more expensive. But despite all that, casino's really nice, and I recommend the people to the people who want to go there.
Sure.
But yeah, that's all I can say about my experience, I guess.
But speaking of traveling, hopefully you may see a vlog documenting my experience in Cleveland, Ohio in the next few months.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you went to Cleveland.
Well, I plan to.
Oh, okay.
Well, I hope you don't run into some guy from Cleveland.
Do you know one?
Oh yeah, we know. Oh yeah.
Oh no.
But we're not gonna go too far into it.
Yeah.
Well, tell me in the private chat, because I have no idea.
Oh yeah, Jonathan can type it in for you. We've talked about him before on a few episodes of this very fine program. But yeah, we'll kind of leave it at that.
Okay. I know.
Yeah. Don't.
Well, I don't think he knows me, so I think I'm good there. I wouldn't even know what he looks like.
I'm gonna call him you. Hey, you.
But yeah, Danny Lewis. Danny Lewis in Cleveland. Yeah, hot in Cleveland. You have Danny in Cleveland.
That'll be a good show.
Yeah. You'd be in a sitcom.
Yeah. Well, out of it, if there's anyone who looks like they'd be perfect for a sitcom, it does look like it'd be Danny. you have that every guy. You have that everyday guy look to you,
Yes.
to where you look like you would be like just a perfect common man for a sitcom.
No.
You know, funny enough, I look like the type of guy who'd be common for a drama series. I could be the next Dr. House.
Dr. House.
Tricky, yeah, I could see you for a soap opera.
I think you
You
could
know
be.
what-
I think he could be the next Walter White.
I could be like common for a comedic character in a soap opera. Yeah.
Mhm.
They really don't have those.
I just look like a guy who's just doing stand up comedy for.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be the next. You could be the next big African American comedian. So you join the likes of Kevin Hart, Chris Rock, and Dave Chappelle, and all these guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could easily do that.
Although, but I will say this though, I personally don't really consider House to be a soap opera. I mean, yes, it is.
No, it's not a soap opera. It's a.
Well, I mean, yes, it is a medical drama, but the thing is, like, it's not really depressing because it doesn't take itself like too seriously. I mean, like nowadays, when you look at dramas, they take itself like way too seriously. If you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But some modern dramas today, they can be fun to watch. Some of them are. The Good Doctor is one of them. I actually like that show. That's a good show. Good Doctor.
Hey, dramas will get you views nowadays. Dramas get you views.
Yeah, as proven with episode 8.
Let's approve my
yes.
bills today too. My bills they got a lot of views in one day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Up to
Drama
three,
does-
up to 380. I think I'm up to 350. Almost close to 360 already.
Okay. I see you, Jonathan. All right, making those numbers.
Oh yeah, and besides the drama thing, do you think I would also be common as a voice actor?
Depends who you voice act as.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you could be a decent voice actor, I think.
Okay. Because now
Voice
if
acting?
you don't know, I actually did videos that I never uploaded to YouTube like ever due to copyright reasons and due to my voice sounding like shit back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually did like fan dubs, like comedic dubs, because I actually want to improve my voice acting work. Because I'm looking at these voice actors like, oh wow, these guys, they're the shit, they're the bomb. I want to be like them. So basically, what I did is that I actually did dubs of movies and TV shows like Degrassi and Batman Gotham Knight, stuff like that. I did those back in the day, but looking back, I was like, oh wow. I mean, they're cringy to look at. I mean, they're not funny. I mean, they are, but I don't think they're. I just don't think. But I do think I still have potential. Especially if I like do a if I do a stoner California surfer type voice. Yeah, that would be cool, bro. Cash on that, bro.
Oh man.
I'd probably do a cameo as a voice actor, but I would never do it as a regular thing. Maybe like
Oh man, I could see myself just doing a bunch of cameos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go watch the South Park vaccination special if you haven't already.
Oh, I have. It was great.
Oh, you have? Okay, yes, it was.
I
I watched it with my
enjoyed
mom.
it.
I watched it with my mom, and I'm just like, well, what do you expect? It's South Park, just when you watched it.
I'm actually starting to believe that South Park is starting to go back to the top.
Oh, I think I think they've been there at least at one time in the past, but
Oh yeah. Yeah, because the thing is that the last time South Park was actually good, well, to me at least, was 2010. That was the last good year. I actually stopped liking South Park after season 15, which was the one that premiered in 2011, because they started to take itself too seriously, and then
And
stopped.
they got too much involved with pop culture and current events.
Yeah, and they became less satire and more about, the morals and shit. Like, hey, you should not do, the lesson of the story is you should not do this, you should not do that. Like, this is supposed to be a comedy, is it not?
Yeah.
It's a cartoon. Yeah, it's a comedy cartoon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, guys, we are approaching near the end of our program for tonight. So,
All right.
So yeah, I'm gonna say this real quickly. Be sure to check out all these guys. Be sure to check out all these guys on their real platforms. Be able to check out Jonathan on his channel, Jonathan Hanna. He had a video really take off today, so be sure to check his channel out. Give him the support that he needs. Be sure to check out Tricky. I think he changed his channel up, but
Tricky Dark Friday 10.
Yeah, Tricky Dark Friday 10. He has some content over there, so be sure to check him out. Be sure to check out the one and only Game Show Fans House, one better known as the one and only Mr. Danny Lewis. And be sure to check out our very own Lock It In the Game Show podcast. You can find it on Anchor and you can find it on Spotify.
Yeah.
And if you haven't checked out this channel before, give it the attention that it needs. And ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week for our season finale. Until then, take care, everybody. Have a good night.